Doomguy is a very creatively named protagonist of the Doom franchise and appears in every mainline game with exception to the bad Doom 3. Although he could technically fit the role of a guy you play as in Doom, Doom 3 Doomguy isn't really the Doomguy. Rip and Tear is the catchphrase used by the protagonist of the Doom series. It originated in a comic book created in the 90s and was only included in the franchise in Doom 4 during the iconic intro speech.
They are rage, brutal, without mercy. But you will be worse. Rip and tear, until it is done.
Since then, these three words have been synonymous with Doom. It is also a very kick-ass song that plays in some levels of Doom 4, specifically Titan's Realm and one portion of Argentina. At Doom's Gate is the menu song and the track to the first level of Doom 1. It is the signature melody of the franchise and is completely iconic. Fun fact, the main riff of the song appears to be based off the intro to Master of Puppets by Metallica. It's not the exact same, but if you have it ingrained in your mind like I do, then you can tell the similarities. Blank M blank. This is the naming method of the levels in the original Doom. The number after the E stands for the episode and the number after the M stands for the mission. So if you are on episode 3, mission 4, it'd be called E3M4. I always thought it was a very creative way to name levels, but sadly after Doom 1, it never returned. Doom 2 completely abandoned the episode format and just started naming them boring names like Map 13 or something. John Romero. One of the creators of Doom, John Romero is well known for a slick haircut, being heavily addicted to deathmatch, and the ever-associated game Daikatana, that no one will ever let him live up. He's made a WOD for Doom 1 called Sigil and currently is hiring for a new FPS project by Romero Games, but after the classic Doom games, he hasn't had any developing correlation with Doom. Quote, Doom is the first FPS, quote. You may have heard this from some people, but they're really dumb. You may think the first FPS would be Wolfenstein, however the real first one was actually Hover Tank 3D, made in April 1991. There was a small amount of shooting and it wasn't very complex. It involved you navigating a maze in search of civilians to rescue. If you think a lack of shooting doesn't make an FPS, it doesn't really matter because either way, id Software would have been created an FPS genre anyway since they made all three, Wolfenstein, Hover Tank, and Doom. Doom is the most Christian FPS. This is very accurate, however that would put it in an intense competition with Super 3D Noah's Ark. Many people have tried to argue that because of the demonic themes in the game, that it isn't it's actually a game made by the devil. Woo-hoo. However, I would argue that since the Bible talks about hell, does that make it demonic and unholy? No. The main enemy is demons, and the main objective is to kill every last one of them. By that logic, is GTA 5 a game about bank management and funds because banks exist in the game? No. Too Angry to Die. Too Angry to Die is often used to describe the Doomslayer and Doomguy. It's a rather accurate notion to why he's so badass and murders demons, but isn't the only reason he's that big of a monster killer. Daisy. Daisy is a pet rabbit first introduced in Thy Flesh Consumed, the 4th episode of Doom 1, released a couple of years after the game's launch. Some people try to say that Doomguy kill all demons just because he had rabbit and they killed rabbit. It's so funny. It's just a rabbit. How could you be so mad about rabbit? Right. But they are actually just kind of wrong and dumb. BFG Division. The second most overused song in Doom memes. It plays on the mission Advanced Research Complex in Doom 4 and bangs the first time you hear it. Then you hear it again and again and again and again. Man, this is the peak of metal. Oh, it's all good, it's funny. Bruh, there's like 24,000 other tracks that are just as good or better than that track. Like Skull Hacker. Or Vega Central Processing. Or like Mastermind. Have these people even like played Caddinger Sanctum? Have they heard Damnation? Thousands, dozens, but you pick the same one over and over again. Like, please, listen, there's different Doom music. Mick Gordon. Mick Gordon is the legend that made all the modern Doom songs up to the first 2 DLCs of Doom Eternal. He has an iconic nu metal style and makes absolute bangers that aren't just 2 songs in the entire franchise. Mars. This is the location of most of Doom 4 as well as the bad Doom 3. Doom 1 is located on the moons of Mars for the first 2 episodes, but not like on Mars. Mars is a very important location in the Doom lore and is kind of where everything started, and has been visited and colonized by the Night Sentinels in Eternal Canon, and was home to the original Mars civilization in Doom 3 where the Soul Cube was created. So usually, no matter what canon a game is involved with, Mars probably has something important to do with the lore or whatever. Doom is eternal. This was the marketing slogan for Doom Eternal and was subsequently used as a very unfunny meme in the Doom community. I love Doom, but God, the fandom has really shitty jokes. Such pinnacle of humor include blank temporary, Doom is eternal, and no other variation to this joke. Animal Crossing. Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons were released on the same day. So this of course means the overreactive fandoms unite for some rather unfunny jokes. Guys, the cute doggy shoot mean demon. Why would doggy do that? Like they're the funniest thing ever. Now all my friends, the second I bring up Doom, they go, oh, didn't Animal Crossing come out on the same day? Like there's some like complete Aristotles of game lore or some shit. When the Doom music kicks in, this is my least favorite meme from the Doom community. When I first saw it, I went, huh, neat. Yeah, Doom music's really good. It deserves this meme. Then a couple weeks later, YouTube kept on recommending me this same video over and over again. Well, not exact same, but they're the same video, let's be for real, of something goofy happening, and then like BFG Division, or The Only Thing They Fear Is You plays over it. Like it's, like there's not an entire franchise of music to be playing here. And if it's not those, it's gotta be Meat Hook or Rip and Tear, which are, Meat Hook is alright, Meat Hook is good, but it's a little overrated. Rip and Tear is kind of more rare to see, however. So I guess I'll give that one a pass.
You can't just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars. Hole into the surface of Mars. You can't just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars. Just shoot a hole into the surface.
After you complete the Ark Complex mission in Doom Eternal, you are sent to go find a portal to the final Hell Priest who's hiding out in Sentinel Prime. The only slip gate to get to Sentinel Prime is at the center of Mars. Thus, logically, the only logical thing to do here is to blow the fuck open Mars. Crack it open like a goddamn walnut. So, Doomslayer goes to a UAC facility on one of the Mars moons. It uses the BFG 10,000. Mars is boom. And he does that. So, hearing this logical, super logical thought, Samuel Hayden, the biggest party pooper in the Doom franchise, goes, "You can't just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars." And so the Doomslayer just kind of does it anyways. John Carmack. This developer is another vital creator of Doom. Carmack has to be like one of the smartest men alive. His coding was the only real reason it could pump out high-tech first-person shooters in the early 90s. If not for Carmack, then Doom would have come out like way later, like in the 60s or something. Or like probably wouldn't even come out at all. He was like the best dude there. He's a literal rocket scientist, giant Dungeons and Dragons nerd, VR game developer, juvenile delinquent, and probably a super ultra alien giga genius sent to Earth to destroy all of humanity with his crazy mind waves. Quake. This franchise is a spiritual successor to Doom. It was also created by id Software, however the gimmick was that it was real, actual 3D, as opposed to the fake 3D of Doom 1 and 2, which lacked a Y-axis. Although its multiplayer may be a lot more popular, the similarities really show in single player, seeing that you fight these evil Cthulhu Doom monsters with a wide array of firearms you find as you go along. Its themes and tone more fit the good Doom 3, but the gameplay is rather similar. Knee Deep in the Dead was free. Originally, Knee Deep in the Dead was shareware, which means that it was completely free to download on the internet, and once you completed E1M1, then it sent you straight to his screen advertising the full game. Kind of like a trial. Or demo. This was one of the reasons Doom became so popular. The Doomslayer. This is the playable character in the modern Doom games, and it's one of the biggest badasses in gaming history. In lore, he's murdered demons for nearly all of time and doesn't plan to stop anytime soon. The demons describe him as if he's some sort of boogeyman, and Satan literally warns hell once the Slayer returns.
He is here.
This protagonist is probably one of the most metal things in the Omniverse. Lawnmower. Much of the music created by Mick Gordon utilizes a combination of real instruments, techno, and literal power tools. Among the most notable is the signature synthesized lawnmower that can be heard in a section of The Only Thing They Fear Is You. Probably my favorite part of that song. The longer the icon of sin is on Earth, the stronger you will become. At the beginning of the Doom Eternal level Urdak, the Conmaker awakens the icon of sin under their control, but the Slayer destroys its heart, which breaks it away from their control, meaning that we got some giant, big old, world-eating demon walking around through Earth. The icon of sin runs away towards Earth, and Samuel Hayden, for like 12 times in the level, says the titular phrase,
The longer the icon of sin is on Earth, the stronger he will become.
like we didn't hear him the first like 23 times. Glory Kills. The Glory Kill is a fantastic gameplay feature introduced in Doom 4. If you injure a demon close enough to death, then it will begin flashing orange and blue. If you go up to them and melee the demon, a sick short animation of like ripping the demon in half or something plays. During this animation you are invincible, and when it's done, a portion of your health is refilled. Each animation is different depending on the part of demon you're facing or aiming at. This really rammed home the idea that the Slayer is a badass demon murderer, not just by telling us, but by showing us via gameplay and making it an entire feature that you gotta, like, mid-combat, you need to tear these demons in half. Like, you need to. In Doom Eternal, this feature was expanded on by giving the Doom Slayer a Doom Blade. A cool little, like, predator based off of blade and goes straight off the arm. It's sick. This made the animations much faster and debatably much cooler. Berserk and power-ups. These are abilities Doom Guy finds during gameplay that give special powers. Berserk allows the man to be able to literally rip a demon in half like a Kit Kat and punch demons so hard that they, like, turn into meat confetti. Mega Healths are handy orbs that refill your health to the max in the classic games, and in the modern games, it does it to your armor as well. Invincibility is another helpful one. In the original Doom games, there is an invisibility power-up that lets you go translucent. Demons can still see you, but they miss way more often. More pro players complain that this is more of a hindrance than an aid, since they're more used to the normal projectile patterns that the demons have when they aren't invisible. But since they're invisible, it messes it all up and it's all crazy wacko. Another power-up exclusive to the classic Dooms, Night Vision Goggles. This lets you see better in the dark and not much else. Finally, the last two appear in the modern Doom games, Haste and Quad Damage. Haste makes you do stuff way faster, like reloading, switching weapons, moving, and pretty much everything except glory kills. Finally, there is Quad Damage, which reappears from the Quake games in Doom 4, and I want you to guess what this power-up does. Perhaps it boosts your damage 4 times. That's my assumption. Chainsaw for ammo. Another fantastic gameplay feature implemented in Doom 4 and improved on in Eternal. If you use your chainsaw to kill a demon, then you get a large sum of your ammo back. In Eternal, your ammo supply was really starved compared to Doom 4, so that meant it was way more essential to the gameplay loop. It acts similar to the glory kills in making you invincible for the period that you are in the animation. Can it run Doom? This is a question and meme often asked by the Doom community when referring to the first Doom game. It is one of the easiest things to run on a piece of hardware. It's so easy that some legend got it working on a freaking pregnancy test kit. If something has a screen on it, then they can probably run Doom with enough elbow grease. WADs. A WAD is a file type for level mods for the first 2 Dooms. You'll find tons of them for the first 2 Doom games, and even some for the good Doom 3. Some of them are silly, and some are very difficult. Either way, a lot of these WADs are very unique and are mostly worth trying out. GZ/ZDoom. These 2 are ports of the Doom engine to a source base and are often used by most mods. It finally gives Doom the Y-axis and lets you jump. However, this does kind of complicate a lot of the secrets in the game, since it was balanced in a way where the only way to go up or down, was either stairs for going up or dropping to go down. So a lot of the secrets would involve you just dropping from a certain height and it'd be a puzzle. But now that you can just jump, it makes it like super easy. Intermissions. Intermissions are screens that appear at the end of each level to showcase the progress you made in that level, i.e. how many kills you've gotten, how many secrets you've acquired, how many items you've obtained. There's a different intermission screen for deathmatch showcasing the different frags, and a cooperative intermission screen also exists, showcasing each one's score. Usually after the score screen, it goes to a map of the level. These are only really prevalent in official releases of Doom 1. I don't think there's any maps for Doom 2, and it's just this neat little thing in the first 3 episodes of Doom 1. Text screens. Text screens appear in Doom 1, 2, and the good Doom 3. These are little text screens you see at the end of each episode or level that explains what's going on in the plot at that point of time. This is where the famous Daisy Vengeance stuff is given context, and often leads to really badass pieces of text. Icon of Sin is John Romero. Back when Doom 2 was being developed, Romero was spending a lot of his time dealing with his crippling deathmatch addiction. So while the map maker for the boss fight of Doom 2 was working on Icon of Sin, he snuck in John Romero's head on a pike behind the Icon of Sin in an out-of-bounds area that can only be accessed via no-clip commands. Another Easter egg towards this is at the beginning of the level, the Icon of Sin speaks in a strange demon language. However, when reversed, it says this.
To win the game, you must kill me, John Romero.
It's just a fun little Easter egg, and obviously, the Icon of Sin isn't actually John Romero, the developer of Doom 1 and 2. That'd be kind of dumb, like in lore. Icon of Sin Origins. In Doom Eternal, it is revealed that the Icon of Sin is actually the soul of the son of Commander Valen, taken by the demons. He explains this in the Exultia cutscene.
It is your people's time now to give penance, just as it was mine. Hear me, Slayer. When his heart is laid to rest, then his soul will be at peace. And so will mine.
According to the Codex, Valen made a deal with Hell to resurrect his son, however it was one big-ass trick. The demons brought him back as the Icon of Sin instead, and Commander Valen's snitching of his forces left the Night Sentinels exposed. Slayer Testaments. The Slayer Testaments are a group of Codex entries in the Hell levels of Doom 4. You may have heard the iconic, "In the First Age, in the First Battle" line, and the source of that is the first Slayer Testament. They are very metal bits of lore, and I recommend listening to them. The full video of all of them wrapped together is about 5 minutes, so I'd say it's totally worth listening. Political metaphors in Doom Eternal. In the level Super Gore Nest, you may come across a couple of UAC holograms explaining how the demons are actually friends, and that Earth is the melting pot of the universe or something stupid like that. Political commentators have taken this in a way and tried to explain how it's a metaphor for Mexican immigrants. Doom is racist and wants us to massacre all Mexicans. But I just think it's about the UAC being a generic megacorporation that treats everything like it's sunshine and rainbows, even though it's clearly not.